Hi, I'm here today to talk about investment properties and buying investment properties with your superannuation. Remember, we're talking all things super here. I'm just a mere accountant and mortgage advisor. I'm not a financial planner, so take this as only general advice, and you need to speak to a financial planner if you want to talk about investment decisions with your superannuation, or you take it into your own hands. First and foremost, can I sell my investment property into my super fund? Well, you can do many things with your super fund. The primary transaction, however, has to be what we call an arm's length transaction, so it can't be biased. So the ATO would be looking at if you're doing a favourable purchase, are you trying to sell it cheap into super, or are you selling it more expensive into your super fund to try and draw money out intentionally? However, if you do have a super investment property, you do want to transfer it into super, there should be no reason why you can't do that. You will have to look at the stamp duty implications on that transaction as well, and it has to be an arm's length transaction. So I would imagine the auditor would pick it up as a qualifying transaction, which would mean the ATO would want to investigate that transaction just by the mere fact that you own it and you're trying to transfer it into your super fund. So it's possible, but it would be difficult. Can I live in a self-managed super investment property? No, not really, because again, you have to have that independent transaction nature, and you living in that property makes it not an independent transaction, and we can't use our superannuation money for personal use whilst it's in accumulation phase. And this is where superannuation can be quite tricky to manipulate for yourself, so speaking to an experienced advisor about all this is fundamentally important. Can I rent my self-managed super fund property? Well, isn't that the same as living in it, Greg? You're paying rent to the self-managed super fund property? I think that's what maybe the question is. But no, you can't rent. I wouldn't recommend it. Again, arm's length transaction. So I wouldn't live in the property and pay myself market rent to it. I think you're bordering on the too much conflict there, and the ATO isn't going to like it, and the auditors that audit your super fund aren't going to like it either. And the final one, can I rent my property inside super to a family member? Again, I would highly disregard it. I mean, to the letter of law, you may be able to get away with it, but it's going to be very complicated. There's going to be arm's length transactions involved in it. The ATO is definitely going to want to look at that transaction, and it's just going to be so difficult. There'd be more harm than good in doing it. Again, independent all the way with any of your superannuation transactions. Give you a perfect example, which is a bit more random. Let's say you buy a $100,000 picture and you buy it with a self-managed super fund. You can't actually get that picture and put it up the wall on your wall at home because you're actually using that picture. So you either need to store it in a vault, or you can store it at an art gallery or lease it to an art gallery, but you can't actually use it for personal use. And this is where the difficulty in super becomes, because too many of us get tempted by the fact of using the super for personal use, and the ATO know that, and that's why they're so hard on the rules with superannuation.